Hi, sweet friends. I hope you're having a good day. Thanks for coming back to listen to another story with me in Miss Curry's Corner. So we're going to read the story today called Woolbur. Do you notice Woolbur is a sheep? He has some very interesting hair up there. But Woolbur, he is a sheep, but he doesn't really want to do what all the other sheep are doing. So let's find out what Woolbur does to figure out how best to be himself. Woolbur. Woolbur had a little trouble with the herd today, said Ma. What happened? Asked Pa. I don't want to stand still with the sheep, said Woolbur. I ran with the dogs instead. But those dogs are half wild, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? They'll run circles around you, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? So here's Woolbur's family. We have Woolbur's mom, dad, there's Grandpa, there's Woolbur. Do you see the dogs in the background? So instead of just standing in the field all day, Woolbur wants to run with the dogs. I don't see anything wrong with that, do you? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled their wool all night long. So when sheep are worried in this story, they tend to pull on their wool on their body. So look, here's Grandpa. Here's Mom and Dad. Grandpa says, don't worry. Mom and Dad are like, we're worried. Right? They're concerned. Woolbur had a little trouble in the shearing barn today, said Ma. What happened? Asked Pa. I don't want to shear my wool, said Woolbur. Being woolly feels nice. But it's springtime, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Your wool is so long, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. Shearing is what you do to sheep in the springtime, so they won't be so hot. You cut their wool much thinner. But Woolbur decided he wants to keep his wool. But can you get a good look at Woolbur right there? Ma and Pa are worried. Woolbur had a little trouble in carding wool today, said Ma. What happened? Asked Pa. I carded my own wool, said Woolbur. No more tangles. So when you have sheep's wool, it's all kind of stuck together, and you take these two almost like card brushes, and you brush all the tangles out the wool to make it nice and smooth so you can turn it into yarn or whatever you're going to do with it. So here are his classmates doing what they're supposed to be doing. Are you ready to see Woolbur? Look, he carded his own wool. He's super fluffy. Oh my goodness. Silly Woolbur. But sheep don't card wool on their bodies, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? You look so different, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. So look, here's Woolbur. They can't get his helmet on him for sports. Here his mom is telling him, look at the other sheep. Grandpa's like, it's fine, quit worrying. And look, Ma and Pa pulling on that wool. Worried, worried, worried. They're worried about their son. Woolbur had a little trouble spinning today, said Ma. What happened? Asked Pa. I rode around on the spinning wheel, said Woolbur. It was fun. But spinning is not supposed to be fun, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Your yarn is all loopy, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. So once you card the wool, you put it on the spinning wheel to spin it nice and long and thin. And he was off spinning his own wool on his body. Looks like he's having a grand time. Woolbur had a little trouble dyeing wool today, said Ma. What happened? Asked Pa. Instead of dyeing the yarn, I dyed myself, said Woolbur. I like experimenting. You look unbelievable, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? It will never wash out, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled their wool all night long. So look, dyeing wool is, sorry, that's the dog. Dyeing wool is what you do when you want to change the color. So instead of doing the wool they gave him, he did himself. Oh, look how long Mom and Dad's wool is getting. Gracious. Woolbur had a little trouble weaving today, said Ma. What happened? Asked Pa. I put my head in the loom, said Woolbur, to weave my forelock, which is like right here in front of his head where your bangs might be. But that's not what you were shown to do, said Pa. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? So if you look, here's what the other sheep are making with their colored dyed wool string or yarn. And here's Woolbur sticking his own wool in there. Woolbur. It's unheard of, said Ma. I know, said Woolbur. Isn't it great? Don't worry, said Grandpa. But Ma and Pa pulled on their wool all night long. So look at Woolbur's hair from the weave. And here's Grandpa saying, don't worry, but look at Ma and Pa. Look, they've pulled and pulled and pulled on their own wool, and it's getting so long. They are very worried. Finally, Ma and Pa took Woolbur aside and said, you must follow the flock, dear. It's what we sheep do. From now on, you will stay with the herd like everyone else. You will shear your wool like everyone else. You will card your wool like everyone else. You will spin your wool like everyone else. You will dye your wool like everyone else. And you will weave wool like everyone else. So look, they're telling him, they're like, look, as a sheep, different is not good. We don't want you to be different. But think about this. Is different bad? He's had some really great ideas. All the other sheep have been watching him. Do you think what Woolbur is doing is causing trouble? Is it hurting anyone? Let's see what happens. Oh, said Woolbur. He thought and thought all night long. So here he is, having a moment. And look, he's tossing and turning in his bed, thinking about what his parents have told him. He may have the idea, but Mom and Dad have said no. And from then on, he taught everyone how to run with the dogs and let their wool grow and card their own wool. Oh my goodness, look, he's got all his friends at school running. Look at Grandpa taking the picture. Then he's got them all letting their wool grow, not getting sheared. Here, look, they've all carded their own wool. Look, they're all so fluffy. Even Grandpa's doing it. He taught them all how to spin crazy yarn, to experiment with color, and to weave their forelocks. So look, here they are, spinning their own yarn on the spinning wheel, mixing colors and sitting in it. And look, they've all learned to weave their forelock. Now, Mom and Dad said, you have to do what the flock does. So instead of Woolbur doing what they were doing, what did he do instead? Ma and Pa put their heads in their hooves and sighed. Woolbur does not think like we do, said Ma. I know, said Pa. Now everyone looks like Woolbur and acts like Woolbur, said Ma. I know, said Pa. How will we ever find him? Like, now that everyone's acting the same, which one is ours? So look, they're all running around chasing butterflies. But do you see the one that's Woolbur? I'll give you a hint. He has on a backpack like he's going to go on a trip. Now do you see him? Where could Woolbur be going? Don't worry, said Grandpa. Oh, look. He hasn't gone far yet. But here he is on his mat, weaving something, starting something new. So, what did Woolbur teach us in this story? Is different always bad? Sometimes we have really neat ideas, and the best thing to do is to teach others. So why don't you find someone in your house and go teach them about Woolbur? Tell them what he did that was different from all the other sheep. And then when his mom and dad said, "No, Woolbur, you are a sheep. You must act like the other sheep," how did he solve that problem? I feel like Woolbur will never give up being different. I hope you enjoyed this story with me today. Please come back soon and we'll have more books. I miss you all and I will read to you again soon. Bye.